10 seconds.
What's going on, guys? It's your host, Mike and Wes. We're back at it. Welcome back to the View from the Deadbox. We have a couple things we're going to get off our chest today. I have a point that I think it's been around and has changed several times through the beginning of paintball all the way to now, and it's changed several times. And we kind of want to briefly touch on some of this NXL thing that some of you guys may have seen, and is actually a new thing to us, that they're trying to maybe reinvent some stuff, and it actually might go pretty well with this COVID thing going on. I know you said you had a topic you want to touch on too.
Yeah, I got a little topic. It's more specific to you, I would say. And I'm sure there are other paintball players that are the same way, and it didn't really – you've never done that. At least I've never noticed you do it, and I've known you for 15, almost 20 years. Yep. So, I don't know. You want to start off with that, or do you want to go – should we hit on the NXL stuff first?
I think you know what. Let's build up the anxiety to that.
Okay.
I feel like I can only imagine with it relating to me how off topic, like, wild it could be. From just doing wild stuff. But yeah, let's get into the NXL stuff. So we see them do a map, right? Yep. And they broke it into three regions per se. Yep. You have I think is it like what 10 pro teams per region, and that's what they're going to compete in. That's basically what they're going to be. It looks designated
like 6 or 7-ish. I think the East has a few more teams. Sorry, I'm not looking at my screen.
Yeah, you're good.
But it looks like the East has the most, and then your South Central and your West have about the same. I think the East has 1 or 2 more teams here. Just off a quick count between 6 and 8 teams, I would say.
Yeah. So it looks like they divided up in 3 regions, and I could be, maybe not reading it correctly, but to me, how it reads is those pro teams assigned to those regions will be competing at that event when that event is to take place. So I'm assuming, since all the pro teams competed in Vegas, that'll be 1 score, and they will compete at their region event. That'll be the 2nd score, and Cup is going to be Cup. That'll probably be the 3rd score. I did see where they mentioned divisional teams will also do the same thing. And their first, or not first, they can play all 3 events in all 3 of the regions, but you will only count the highest score of any of those 3 is what's going to count. So, which is good, because we've had several occasions that we went to an event and had just not had a good day. And you've played the same teams, and maybe that layout just didn't suit you guys, your team, and the next time we go to an event and that's just our event, we ended up just, wrecking everybody, or that layout just fits us.
Oh, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, there's reasons you see, like you said, certain teams with certain layouts and a certain Sunday, and they're placing first, or they're packing their bags by noon. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get. You can be the best team in the world and have those same crappy days and good days.
So to me, this will make it a little bit interesting to watch from a spectator side, because the pros only have 1 shot.
Yep.
So a lot of these pro teams play all season, and I'm not going to say they don't give it their all, but when they get down, and they know they can't really move on, they're kind of just dicking around. Oh, yeah. These guys can't afford to do that, because
absolutely not.
How tight it's going to be throughout the next scheduling will be that 10th place instead of the 11th place is actually going to make a big deal, because they'll divide the points up for those 12 teams at that event, or 7 or 6 or whatever it ends up being. And the next event, you might have taken 10th there, but that's equivalent to somebody's 10th or 9th over there.
Yep.
So it's going to make a big deal. So those 7 to 10 teams in those events are going to be like cutting each other's throats, and they only have 1 shot besides Cup, obviously.
Well, and same, I don't know. I don't follow the Pro League as much as I should and as I used to, but do you know if they still, like, your top 2 teams or your bottom 2 teams will fall down a division, and your top 2 teams, do they still do it like that?
They used to. I
Yeah.
just don't know if they're going to do it this year with.
Yeah, that was something I was wondering. I wish when they
it's the relegation.
Yep, the relegation. That's what it is.
I just don't know if they're going to do that with all the COVID stuff going on. Man, I hate to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
But God, it has affected the paintball world in such a giant scheme that, things that we know it can change so much. So we're looking at potentially not having a relegation this year because it's really not fair to give those teams the 5 events they play or the 4 events, and let them think, okay, well, you guys did dog shit for 4 events. You don't belong here. Go down to semi-pro and work your way back up, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they're going to hold that this year, which is – they might. Because
it would
fair to the semi-pro guys that played
their
3 events
Yep.
and have wiped everybody out. Shout out to the Tauntauns for just not being that good, but always being better than everybody else in the semi-pro. Where Aftermath basically lives.
Yeah. I felt like for the past, I don't know, probably from like 2007 or probably 2008 to like 2012, that's how I felt about it. Excessive. They were always right there on the top of the semi-pro and would bump up and come down, bump up. It was like, you're this close and you're missing whatever your one piece is. It's something. One thing won't click, and that's all you need to be up the top with the best teams in the world.
Yep. Because honestly, there's no difference between the semi-pro guys because they're typically all pros.
Oh, yeah.
That have been playing for a long time.
Yep.
I think it comes down to coaching, obviously, and we're not going to act like semi-pros don't have amazing coaches because obviously they do. But just the coaching. And it's all adjustments and throughout the game, and that all probably revolves back to the coaching thing.
Yeah.
And you see the teams that are typically doing better are guys that have been playing together for a longer time. Dynasty, obviously, without saying it, has been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And some of those guys don't really have it anymore. I watch them play, and they just don't have that pizzazz.
They've been doing it for 25 years. Same guys we both grew up watching. I mean,
and so what they lack in maybe athleticism because they're obviously significantly older than most of the pro league. They gain with knowledge, and the game breaks down. And not saying they don't need a coach because they definitely need one, but they are all 5 capable of being probably the best coaches in paintball.
Yep.
And when you're playing 5 pro level coaches, you can't. It's so hard to out coach them.
Yep.
You're coaching against 6 coaches who are all Triple Crown winners and have won probably more events than we'll ever play. You can't. You got guys and I love AC Dallas. It's one of my favorite teams, and that I always pull for. I don't know why I view them as a throw together, which they obviously are not. But I view them as the underdogs out of every event, and at this rate, they are definitely not. But they just have got the core group of guys now for so long.
Yep.
And they have made the jump, and they are just clicking every time. And they go to some events now. I think AC Diesel and Dallas actually play both at the pro level compared to it wasn't like that.
I'm looking at the teams here, and they're both in the South Central. It's Houston Heat, XFactor, Dallas Diesel, Tampa Bay Damage, and ML Kings are in that South Central division together.
So let's go over that. Let's break down the teams and divisions within those 3 areas. So on the East, which looks like it's going to be somewhere around Virginia, Pennsylvania, something along that region. Who do we have over there?
We have Russian Legion, Baltimore Revo, Infamous, New York Extreme, Columbus Level, NRG Elite, San Diego Aftermath. Am I reading that right? Yes, I am reading that right. And Trade My Gun Outlaws, who they put in the East.
That all makes sense except
for Aftermath. Yes, it must have been a numbers thing. I hadn't looked at these really beforehand all that much, but
it doesn't really matter to them because they were going to make that event anyways. So, but it would be great to go, hey man, your only event to play is the one right next to your house.
Yeah, I mean
that would have been great. So you got Russian Legion, murderers, right? Like
Yes,
they're
absolutely.
always top 5 team every time,
Yep.
every event. You said you have. I heard.
Baltimore Revo. Is it Revo or Revo? I don't know.
It's Revo.
Okay.
I actually got to play those guys. I was actually at their field and did not know it. I was home visiting family, and me and a buddy were like, "Hey, you want to go down? There's a big paintball field down here." And he knew I was big into it, and we drove down there. And there was probably like D2, D3 teams we were just like mixing up with, and there was like 2 speedball fields up top, and then 2 giant rec fields, and I had no clue this place was that big. I'm like, to me, I'm thinking, wow, this place is huge, and I keep hearing like an event going on, and there's like this giant sloping hill, and he said they have a NCPA college tournament going on down there. It's so big that these guys are playing at where the Revo was at the time. They were playing event there, and I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even see it. That's how
crazy.
big this place was. Yeah. So we ended up going down there, and it was Revo. I think Upton was there,
Okay.
and there was another team that they were scrimmaging. At this time, Revo, I think they weren't pro. They might have been like D1, D2, something like that back then. And they were all in that same like area playing, and you didn't even know they were there because the place was so huge.
That's crazy.
We were up on the top 2 X-ball fields, and I'm like, man, there's like 8 teams here scrimmaging. This is great. They didn't like. There's 2 more, 3 more pro teams down there. A national college tournament going on, and it was open for like normal day of play.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is insane. So you have Russian Legion. You have Revo. I heard New York Extreme.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite teams to watch. Not as hey, they did well in Vegas,
right? Definitely.
But they typically aren't. They're a bottom feeder team like that.
Yeah, and that's nothing against any of those players either.
No. But that's just, they always fall low to middle. That's where they stay at. But damn, do I love watching them play. I forget the guy's name. Is it Hussein? Is that the big guy, the owner of the team? Actually, he always has something to say after every point.
You might be. I think you're right. I forget his name though, but I feel like I see the face. Yeah.
Yes, and it's great because if you watch that match in Vegas, it was them versus who was it? XFactor.
Okay.
And XFactor was just steamrolling people, and they get matched up with them, and it was like back and forth, like, and the sad thing was if you like came in the match and backed out and came in, you would think they were like so close. The scoreboard was like 3-0 XFactor, 4-0. They were just beating the hell out of them, but they were like talking shit. Like every time New York Team walked by, they were like in their face, like grabbing his crotch, like giving
head games, man.
Yeah, I'm like, these dudes are 4-0 against you. What are you doing? God, it was just, it's great to watch. They put on a show, and I think as a spectator, that's great to see. Right before the guy gets knocked out in the grandstands, like 5 seconds later. That was literally the same. That was during that match, actually.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yes, it was actually over that. It was just great to see that because it was back and forth. Then they scored some points. They scored like 3 back. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then Archie and then boys just kind of turn it up and just close the door on them like 7. Like I think they ran like 4-0 straight out of the end. But yeah, so those 3. You have Aftermath, which to me, right?
It's just kind of odd that they threw them in there. I wonder if it's like I'm guessing like a numbers thing to kind of keep it all. A little more even for division wise, but
ML Kings. So we're at 5.
No, not the ML Kings.
Oh, that was South Central. That was South Central.
That was South Central. Infamous also.
Okay.
They're over in the East, which is kind of a little weird too, but same thing. I guess it's a numbers.
Yeah.
Columbus LVL level. So
they did pretty well. They had a good start, and I think they actually had their very first match where they ran like 17 points or something, some wild shit.
That's wild.
I think it was like 9 to like 6 or something weird like that. The very first point, their match of the day, they ran up a score. Somehow.
And that's a grinder too. First thing in the morning, like really? Oh, this is gonna be a long Thursday, Friday, whatever day.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then I believe last off that list would be NRG and Trade My Gun Outlaws.
NRG, they seem to be on the come up.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them, but
we have a couple guys that that played for the VM crew that I was with for a while that are now actually up there and play with NRG. I think it's Alpha.
Yeah,
I think they're Alpha.
NRG Elite Virginia.
Yeah,
so.
Elite. Yeah, they're playing for Alpha, which is their D2 line. And I think they're going. They have a whole I think all the way from pro all the way down every division to the bottom.
Yeah, big old organization.
Huge organization, man, and it's great.
It's great to see that too. I mean, you used to, you see that a lot more, I think, these days too. I mean, you got AC Dallas, all of them. I mean, those are organizations, and then Tampa Bay Damage as well. You see that in Florida. We play VPS, we see Damage this and stuff like that. So
yeah. And sorry, who was the last one?
The last one is Trade My Gun Outlaws.
Trade My Gun Outlaws,
which I believe they would be more Midwest as well. I think, but I'm not too sure exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about them either. Like I said, it's been so long since me personally have followed some of these pro teams. But
now the South Central. Let's go over the list for the South Central.
Okay, you got Houston Heat, San Antonio XFactor, AC Dallas, AC Diesel, Tampa Bay Damage, and the ML Kings. Which I think that's probably one of your harder, in my opinion, one of the harder divisions. Out of the three, I think that's probably your toughest.
It goes back to a little battery change there while you were talking. What were you see out of that whole crew? Who do you think is probably the strongest out of that South Central?
Out of that crew, probably Heat. I would say, and if not, then probably AC Dallas. One of those two, in my opinion.
Shout out Dallas.
I would say so, and then after that, I would say Damage. It's been a little bit since you've seen them up the top, but again, I think they're a solid team.
Damage just did a whole different crew. They have their original coach back, and they have 6 or 7 of the OG players back. I think they have Keith Brown back again.
Do they? Okay.
They have the Edwards brothers. So yeah, they have a pretty stout line.
Yeah.
It's really good. I don't think they did really good in Vegas. I think that was their first event together.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a good lineup. I think if they can keep those guys together. There's a lot of tempers over there.
Oh yeah.
If they can keep those guys together, I think that that'll be a hell of a run. I think
the one I think you'll see struggle out of there is probably the ML Kings out of that division. I think, not saying they're outclassed, but maybe in that division they might be a little outclassed. But yeah. I mean, you throw them against some of the other teams, they're going to be doing fine too. It's just in that division, I think it might be a little bit of a handful for them.
Yeah, for sure. So who else are we talking about now? That's going to be the other 3 or 4 that'll be in the middle of the road.
That would leave you with XFactor and Diesel and the ML Kings. There's only 6 in that division.
I think XFactor might take that event.
You think XFactor could take that?
Yeah.
I mean,
so sound. They're very sound. Play as a team, which is crazy to say that as a pro level. But,
yeah.
It's so wild that when you watch them play, there's not that much communication you hear to them, but they're always on point, with knowing where they are, and they don't, and they have a lot of the guys that played together for a long time, and I think it's probably within, as much as I love Dallas and Diesel, I think that XFactor is probably still the big boys in Texas.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think I'd give that to Heat. I really do. I think I'd give that to Houston Heat.
He doesn't. Listen. I mean, shout out the DLX, but they only show up a cup. That's about all they have.
That might be all you need though to keep your fans around.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
You win the biggest event of the year. That's all everyone remembers.
Yeah. I think I don't know how he did in Vegas. I don't think they did well.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing them. I know XFactor was literally, I think they're up till Sunday. I don't think they lost a match. and they were like they said that they would go up 4 and 5 points pretty quick, and they were experimenting like with game, like they were like pissing points away, experimenting with game types,
Yeah.
just to see how that would work, and then go back and get like a 2-3 point lead and experiment again. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean I
think that's a stacked.
That might be the
really.
hardest region.
Yeah, I believe so.
Without hearing, obviously, I know Dynasty is going to be over there. The next region we have coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we did east to west. So west, we have Ironman, Edmonton Impact, San Diego Dynasty, Seattle Uprising, and Seattle Thunder, and Sacramento DMG.
Ugh.
That, I think, is your second toughest division.
Yeah, I think the East could beat those dudes in the dirt. I think they have two better teams in the West, but they're all like meh. They're all in the middle. They're all really good, but they're all like in the middle. They don't have any like just full out like killers, right?
Yep.
Where I think Russian Legion can probably beat almost every team over there.
I would agree with that statement. Yeah.
And
and Russian Legion does that relatively consistently from year on it. I mean, you hear them placing top 3 at multiple events each season. So it's
always.
Yep.
It's what happens when you mess with the motherland.
Yeah.
That's the motherland right there. You can't do it. Those guys that's their job.
Yep.
Now, granted, I mean, most of these guys at this level, that is their job. They work in a paintball field, a paintball company of some sort, typically. Yeah. But, I mean, not like Russians. I think that's like legit. Like they're at one point, many, many years ago, they were sponsored by the Bank of Moscow, actually.
Yeah.
To do that. Like that's their job. So, they take their country seriously.
Oh, yeah. So who do you think out of that West with Dynasty, Ironman, DMG, Impact, Seattle Uprising, and Seattle Thunder?
It goes between Ironman and Dynasty.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the other ones or Impact. I think Impact could slip in there as well.
Nah.
But you don't think so?
Impact's days are done and gone. That team has been.
You say that with confidence too.
Yeah, they don't have the guys anymore. They still got Goldman, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And when you have him on your team, you can do a lot. But they just don't have a killer. I think they still have There's Rapikov still there? I'm not sure if he is or not, but they still at one point they had probably the best line ever assembled.
Oh yeah,
besides Oliver Langdays from Dynasty. Though
you can't compete with I mean
nobody will ever beat that.
Before when it never mind, I lost train of thought there. But they are a tough team to beat. So it's hard to match that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, which is wild to speak of it, but you're talking about back then where this same core 8 people that you're like, oh my God, these guys are amazing, are still the same 8 guys minus Oliver that are playing together.
Yep.
It's unreal.
Now, was it them or Iron Man? I forget. In one of the Dirter, is it War of Attrition or Bring Out Your Dead, where they talk about, so it had been like 07, 08, 09. They didn't win event all season, and they needed to win like first place to get enough points to take first for this whole PSP.
That was them. That was Oliver talking, I think.
Talking about, I believe so too.
I remember him talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say before when I forgot what I was talking about, but I can't remember what series or what year or anything. But I wasn't sure if it was them or Iron Man that did that. But
I think one of those videos, they're speaking and they weren't doing that well, but they needed somebody to like lose.
Yeah, like get just beaten to the ground.
And they
got beaten to the ground.
Yeah, they said like they were here in the crowd like going crazy, and they're back at their tent, and they're like trying to listen to what's going on. And the team was getting like destroyed. They're like, I think we might be moving on here, boys. Yeah. So they ended up moving on. I think they actually won the event.
I believe so. Sure. And they're the only team. I think it was the last time they did that event, and they had won it like 5 years in a row or something ridiculous. So they're the only team to have ever won that venue or event, however they did it back then. But
because they never happened again.
Yeah.
Well, now you see that when they speak of these things like the Triple Crown winners, where they went and they won like 3 series, they held 3 series titles. Yep. That just doesn't happen anymore.
Heck no.
It doesn't exist.
Nope.
And
it made history.
Yeah. these guys have been playing together. I mean, all jokes aside, they've been playing together as long as we have,
Yeah.
and they're just a little bit older now.
Yeah.
But which is crazy to think what some money and good like paintball placement can put you at.
Oh yeah.
I remember them talking in what was it? The Oliver did like an hour special with Bear Diageo, and they were like speaking, and he tells them, they were asking like, as kids, like how do you travel and how do you afford all these nice things and go to these places, and you're flying across the country and out of states. And he said, oh, we all just did what we had to do to get the money. And there was a little bit of bad blood there between Ryan and Oliver. And he says, well, except Ryan. Ryan, I don't know how he ever got the money. Like the money always just was there. He just showed up. The money was always there.
Yeah.
So you can always tell there's a little bit of resentment there.
Well, you got to think. I mean, they grew up together. I'm sure every single one of those players has some knockdown, drag arguments, and disagreements, and hotel rooms, fighting, cussing before tournaments.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we see it with us, and a lot of times, I mean, we shake it off. I mean, me and you've argued, never anything super bad, but I've argued with just about everyone on the team. Yeah. Over what I think's a smart play and you think's a bad play. So I can only imagine if we were playing for some serious money.
Cash,
where it actually mattered.
God.
But I guess that's our little rundown there.
Yeah, and that's kind of my take on the whole region. I'll get into my little thing. It's not long.
Okay.
How about paintball sizes? Do we just
I should have known. I
think every episode I'm gonna play bad cop. You can play the good cop.
Okay.
And I think that I'm gonna think that the paintball community as a whole, the industry are fucking the players.
Okay.
Because
I wish I had an insert here or a ball sizer or something.
Yeah, it's just go, boop, on the screen. It's like rant starts. I feel that back in the day, we spent good money on these barrel backs, like a TI back. Like you had a
I love my TI back.
Like you were like King Dick if you were at the field and you had a TI. Like you were worshipped. And I had a 693 one piece TI autococker threaded 14-inch, and I was in love. Best barrel I've ever shot. Probably still today, best barrel I've ever shot. But the 993, it fit really well because the paint to me was always 8.9 to like 9.1-ish, and it always like rolled halfway down and stop, and you could barely blow it out. Hey man, that's good to go. Let it fucking rip.
Yeah.
But now, dude, we're coming across paint.
I'm
shooting a 677 on, and it's rolling through, and I'm like, in the back of your head, you want to say like, are these bore machines working correct on these spacers? Yeah. Like, are they like? Am I not a moron? Like, what's going on? And you might as well just at this point, it's like, I have both stainless steel shim kits for the XL and the normal Freak, but shit. I might use two. I might use the 8.2 and the 7.9 because everything else I can just fucking throw it in the trash because I'm never going to use it. I have not came across a paintball in the last 3 seasons that has been bigger than an 8.4.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say, well, I'm the same way. I shot a 6.88. I believe it's the blank UL backs are always 6.88s. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I had the TI back. I shot that for 2010 to 2016, 17, and it was like. Even then, it was starting to get small. I could see the size, but it wasn't ever a big deal until now. It's just way too big. I mean, it just rolls through. And I'm losing 10 to 15 feet per second. Everything else, and my gun shoots better too now that I actually have to properly bore size my paint. But yeah, I guess the reason they do it, and this is just my speculation, it has to be a cost-saving thing. It just has to be a cost-saving thing. I mean, that's the only thing I can think.
Yes.
And I know what you're going to say.
They're charging 500 paintballs per bag,
right?
And maybe they're saving 38 cents per bag.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
and
but
you put 4 bags per case, and then you're sending out, God, I mean, probably fucking 50 pounds of paint a week.
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh yeah.
Probably more than that, not including events. I mean, it's a scheme. It all, I'm gonna
have to get you a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, it's based on my head. It literally is. I think that they're they're doing it on purpose, you know.
I mean, I don't think they're doing it. I just think it's just a straight up cost. They're like, I can still sell this paint for the same amount of price.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I mean, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying. They're still
you
getting,
just admitted
but
it.
they're still. I know they're still getting 2K paint. They're still getting 4 bags.
Yeah, but I'm losing break. Like, let's think about it. Like, the breaks now, the paint is kind of shitty.
You mean like
It
the
doesn't
amount
have the
of paint
fill.
on the person? Yeah.
And you have heard people complain the last year, like, this isn't really marking well.
I never actually even really thought about that.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's going to bother me more now because you've said that.
Yeah, but you are physically losing paint inside the shell. You know, we haven't really lost. Well, I don't know. I mean, while I'm on the case, are they getting more wild with how they're treating this paint? Because now
my paint feels more dimply as the years have gone on.
That's what I'm saying. I feel that they're just rushing the paint out.
Maybe
demand, which is good. If it's demand, that's great. But let's not lose quality for quantity, right?
Yeah.
You still have to give me $2,000. Not only are you charging me double what I used to pay, and I don't want to hear fucking inflation. Don't tell me inflation. We're talking about 10, 20 years, you know, for paintballs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, if anything, the price of paintballs themselves have probably gone down. I imagine it was expensive to make those things back in the 80s and 90s when paintball
now
was
technology only
around.
Gets cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm guessing, too, but that's just my speculation. I mean, everyone's seen the little how they make things in the paintball episode is on there. I mean, it's not hard now, but 20 years ago, it was probably a pain, but paint has gotten significantly cheaper, I would imagine. I mean, in general, to manufacture, it's gotten cheaper. Our prices probably haven't really gotten cheaper, but
they've gone. There's no problem about it. They have gone up. Which in turn makes the field charge more.
Yep.
And makes it harder for John, Jimmy, and Johnny to get out there and play. You know, and her mom to drop them off is buy a $60 to $80 case of paint, and they're like, "What?" To where
it affects the rec players more because most of your tournament players get paint a little. Yeah, better. You know what I mean? We don't get it free.
All of our paint's free. Like
we just shoot loads and loads.
We go in there and we charge our team like $40 a case. You know what I mean? But we're basically only paying $20, so we're charging them $40, and then we're getting the 2 cases.
And we're right.
Buy one, get one.
That's really how we fund the whole team. Little known fact. And then we take everybody's $50 a month and we buy pods. Shout out to Georgia Extreme Fundraising.
Yeah, they're in the scheme. Fucking tinfoil hat. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, my thing is, I just want consistent paint. If it's going to stay small for forever, it needs to stay small. And I should just be fine with my 679 back or my 680 or whatever it is. But now Dye needs to make me another titanium.
Shipping with that. Now, the Lux X, best gun ever invented, in the world. That ships with 1 back. First of all, scam. But 1 back, and it's a 689.
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't even use that anymore.
No, well, I mean, that Ego right there, I believe that's a 9.3.
No, probably a 9.1 or 9.3.
9.1, yeah. I can't see it, but yeah.
I know they want to give you a bigger barrel so you can shoot all kinds of paint. So I understand.
It's probably focused more for the rec player, so the rec player doesn't have to worry about boring his paint. He's not going to notice the feet per second gain or anything like that we would. And the more consistent that.
Yeah, and we've already done that. We've already done it. We've already looked. When I grabbed your gun and went over the front with the pressure testing and the bore matching, it is. And mark my words, guys. If you're not bore matching in paint, it is not bullshit. Bore match your paints. You will get. I will bet anybody any amount of money. I will take any gun. Give me your spider. If we can bore match your spider, I will promise you, I will pick up 10 to 15 feet per second over the chrono with adjusting nothing, and I will tighten up the grouping from corner to corner on shooting it. That has been shown a billion times over. And I have guys that play on our team who are literally monkeys with guns, who don't understand how to turn the gun on half the time, and are still playing 20 years down the road and aren't bore matching. And this last season, we've cracked down on it. I'm like, bore, match your paint. And guess what? they finally got out their lazy ass. They're bull matching. Now they're bull matching every single practice. You know why? Because it helps.
Yep, you get those shots, man.
Yeah, they're like, oh, my wild hairs of paint kind of like went from this to kind of like this. It's a little bit more accurate. Well, yeah, and you're also, if your gun's at 290 and you properly bore it, it goes to 305, you can also turn the gun down. Guess what? The gun shoots softer. It's quieter. It's better on air. It's more consistent. It's better on paint. It doesn't break it. These are all things that happen while doing what you're supposed to be doing, not just gripping it and ripping it. Turn the gun on, turn it on, put air in it. Shoots 3. No, like you must take care of your shit if you want proper working equipment. Bore match and maintain your shit.
Oh, maintenance could be a whole other video.
Yeah, if you have a Ninja Egg, pressure testing, guys.
That's a whole other video too.
Yeah, Jesus. So, let's get. I want to hear what you got for me because I mean, like
I'm probably making it more of a big thing than it is, but up until probably last season,
is it about the time we went to the Taco Bell bathroom and the toilets weren't working?
No, not that
time. The waffle stomp. All right, thank God.
Time. Up until but what's this year? This is 2019.
2019, 2020.
2020. Okay, so last season, 2019, you never wore headgear for as long as I knew you, and you finally went. I mean, I've always worn beanies. I have too much hair for saying that. I'm not gonna have the ear sticking out and look like
I hate that
because that drives me nuts.
I do hate that.
I know who made you wear the headgear. It was Colin.
Yeah.
But what actually, like, other than Colin saying, you need headgear. Wes, you need headgear. Wes, you need headgear. Why'd you actually go do it? Because you occasionally wore a beanie if it was cold out.
I always had the dye beanie.
Yeah, that was it. But I never saw you anything else. You never had any sort of head game.
You know, I always came off the field in between points, and I was always wiping, like, massive amounts of sweat. And I didn't care about it. Like, 20 years now, and I'm like, whatever. But the one time I was being a dick, and I got a nice pair, a legit sandana, like a legit headband sandana. And I thought it looked fly as fuck. I put it on, and I actually wore it under my mask. And I noticed, like, I'm not sweating in my mask anymore. I can pull it off in between points or run back-to-backs and run, like, drills for, 5-6 minutes straight, 10 minutes straight, and then jump into a game or two back-to-back. And I wasn't sweating anymore. I'm like, wow, this actually works. This actually – okay.
Yeah, okay.
So now it's got to the point where I have to have it.
Oh, yeah, you have it on.
I can't do the beanie. I don't know how you wear a beanie 318 degree
I wear
weather.
The beanie. Except maybe there's been once or twice you or other team have said, don't wear the beanie and I'll shed it to something else. But normally it feels weird to me. I'm just not used to it. But if I've done a hat, I've tried doing the little – Shane wears that little swimmer skull cap with the headband.
Yeah.
I've tried doing that. I don't really like the way that feels. So I just always go back to a beanie.
Yeah.
I mean, it is too hot. And there's a video I've seen before where they tested – one pro player was testing people, like, their thinking ability with the beanie. And it was like their thinking ability was slightly less than the people without because it was retaining heat. There was something I either read about it or saw it or something. It was
I can definitely see. I mean, you wear a giant HK beanie. I think it's HK, right?
Yeah, it's a lime green HK.
HK, if you hear this, send us some more gear.
Yep, matches that loader in the background. So
yeah, see, product placement, guys. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
That beanie when we're in Georgia, terrible weather where it's 100 degrees with like 3,000% humidity, you could like feel the sweat just killing you. You wear that beanie. I'm like,
I always do.
I'm like, we're in the sands of like the fucking Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're still wearing that beanie. I'm like, oh my God.
And what's even worse, I'll shed when it comes like around this time, once like June, July, I normally shed the long sleeve t-shirt and I'll go to a short sleeve t-shirt, but I still keep that damn beanie on. I don't know what it is. I'll play in arm pads and a t-shirt for practice.
Yep.
But I still got the hot beanie. I don't know. That was just something that I've always thought about with you. Because, like I said, I've known you forever.
I dipped into the gloves.
Oh, yeah, you are with the gloves, too.
Well, I know you never really played with gloves either.
I did when I first started, like when I was young. And I did for 2 or 3 seasons. And then once it got cold, and then I would wear them. And then one weekend I shedded them. And I was just like, I really like just my hands being free. I feel like I could grab everything.
Yep. And I was the same way. up until shout out HK, they got these free line gloves that are like so thin that they feel like my hands, like I can feel everything, but feeling everything also brings to the point where I don't know they're on. Yeah. But when you dive and you slide and you get like dirt and mud and sand, it doesn't go like into my elbow pad and it bothers me for an hour. Yeah, it goes cool. It comes right off my hand and I can get up. And I'm really weird about my gun. Every time I dive and slide, I'll come in and I'll like brush my hand off before I shoot. And I probably have.
How you wipe all that paint off, right?
Yeah, the refs are always
gotta get rid of them hits.
They're always looking at me. But I always feel weird if I dive and I felt dirt or mud to get my hand. I'm like, I physically cannot put that hand on my gun until I clean it off some sort. I do not want to put like mud and dirt and sand and beat the shit out of my gun. But funny. I also keep guns from multiple seasons and they look really good. Yeah. And I remember to get my top dollar out and sell it.
Yeah. That's why you buy black guns, so you can Sharpie them up, hide all them dings and dents.
There you go.
Just like a used car salesman.
Tricks of the trades, guys.
Tricks of the trades.
Black guns. You heard it here first on View From the Deadbox. Buy black guns. Look plain, so you can mark them back up and sell them as brand new. LNIB, like new in box.
Yeah.
8K on the shot counter. Boom.
Yeah. Just reset that shot counter. You're good to go.
God.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I had. That was just, like I said, it was a weird thing I thought of, and it more pertains to you in particular. Yep. But I don't know. I should have asked you years ago, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly what it is. I found out that I don't get sweat in my eyes, and I don't have sweat in my eyes. I kill everybody. And I have to go I don't have sweat just coming out of my mask. I'm like, oh my God.
And the way we need it, our team plays, sometimes we need someone to just kill everybody. So
God, that's for another episode.
Yeah, that's for another episode. Stay tuned for part 2, 3, 4, 5 now off this list.
that's exactly what that'll be. So,
but
I appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah, me too.
We're just kind of winging this thing. This is still obviously very new to us, so bear with us.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it takes us.
Yep. Hope you tune in, listen to these episodes, and if we're doing anything wrong, let us know. We can handle feedback.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Thank you for listening.
See you guys.